I'm just absolutely thrilled to be here. I want to thank Dr. Yancey Freeman. I want to thank Athletic Director Kurt McGuffin for giving me the opportunity. I'm just absolutely thrilled to be here. I mean, it's a dream come true to not just coach at a big-time mid-major Division I school, but one right here in Tennessee where I'm from and where I've had so many great players out of West Tennessee before. So absolutely dream come true, and I'm just excited to be here.
We open it up for questions.
How much did being from Tennessee, maybe a little familiar with UT Martin, play a major role in you choosing Martin to be that job that you took that step up?
That's a great question. I mean, honestly, it played a huge role in it because, again, this is a dream job for me. And it's not, I mean, it's an unbelievable spot, but it may not be a dream job for everyone. It may be a stepping stone job for a lot of people. But for me, being from Tennessee, coaching so many West Tennessee players before, it's just a dream job. And, being 2.5 hours from Nashville, where I'm from, it's just going to be an unbelievable opportunity to get great players here and to win championships.
The school has had, or the team has had a lot of success recently. How do you envision trying to keep that momentum going forward after these 2 years where they've been really close to getting to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, Coach Ritter's done an unbelievable job. I mean, he's an elite coach. I mean, there's a reason he's won so many games, and so I'm excited to take what he's done and try to take it to the next level. And it's going to be doing a lot of things the same way. I mean, his relationship with players was a big part, I think, of his success. Obviously, he was a great recruiter as well. He's a great X's and O's guy. So we're going to get the right guys in the building. We're going to get the right players in. And I believe firmly in what we do. I love our culture that we build. I love our system. I think it's the best system in the country on how we do things, both offensively, defensively, on the boards. So we're ready to take the next step and try to get to the NCAA tournament.
How do you feel like that transition is going to be going from a coach in JUCO to coach in Division I?
So in all reality, I think it's a very seamless transition. And first off, because of the transfer portal. It's so brand new for a lot of Division I coaches now, having to deal with replacing so many new players all the time. For us at the junior college level over the last 14 years as a head coach, I'm used to signing 13 players every year. And even this past year, we had to replace 13 players, sign 13 new guys, and we just won 27 games. And so it's something I'm used to, which is great. The second part is the talent level is just about the same, just now we'll have a little bit older guys. We've had 62 kids sign Division I scholarships since I've been at Eastern Florida. We've had a bunch go high major, and high major guys are going to be the type of guys we're going to go after here at UTM. So I'm excited for it because I think there's so many similarities. I think it transitions very seamlessly.
How do you think the relationships you've built in the junior college level with those coaches around the country and the D1 and D2 people that come into your school to recruit your kids, how do you think that transitions into how you recruit?
Great question right there. I think you kind of led me to the question on that one. It's going to help tremendously. The connection we've got to be able to recruit the top junior college players in the country. And Florida's the best region in the country in junior college basketball. So, that alone helps us tremendously be able to get top-level talent in here. Plus, knowing all the Division I and Division II schools that have been in our gym constantly. Now, I'm already kidding. My phone is blowing up. I'm guys saying, hey, we got a kid leaving the portal. Do you have interest? We have a kid leaving in the portal. Do you have interest on this kid, this kid, this kid? And so recruiting, I think that plus the West Tennessee connections and the Tennessee in general connections, I think that that's going to be our recruiting base for the most part. We've also had great success with international players, and so those four aspects between high school guys in recruiting in Tennessee, portal guys, junior college players, and then international, we've got a nice wheelhouse of potential recruits to come here and be a Skyhawk.
So you do plan to go after the high school players too, right, Coach?
We do. I think that's important. I think you have to have a balance. We already have a plan of having somewhere around 3 seniors this year, somewhere around 4 juniors, somewhere around 3 sophomores, somewhere around 3 freshmen. Obviously, that depending on the player, that will adjust a little bit. But I think there's so many good freshmen out there because most colleges aren't recruiting freshmen. And there's high-level talented freshmen all over the country, all over the world that are just getting under-recruited. And so we want to tap into that and really recruit freshmen, develop them, and hoping that the way we do things and my relationship with players, we'll be able to retain them for all 4 years also. I get it if a player plays himself so out of our the range where he's getting $500,000 to go to a high major. That's great. It's like turning pro at that point. But for the most part, we want guys. We want to retain guys. We want guys to grow in our family, grow in our culture, and be a Skyhawk for 4 years and be able to get really good high school players. I think is going to be a great way of doing that.
Talk about the kind of program you want to have, and not just X's and O's, but in the locker room, on campus, and what kind of players you want.
We want to have great kids, all right? We want to have great guys, and that's first and foremost. And I've already told, we got an unbelievable staff supporting me now. I can't believe we have this type of a coaching staff. It's a high major coaching staff. But I've been very adamant with those guys right from the moment they signed on. We want great guys. We want great guys. We don't want guys that cause any trouble off the floor. We want guys that take care of their academics and really want an education in addition to being an athlete. We want guys that are going to be the community's going to be proud of. I mean, that's going to be huge, and that's always been a staple of my programs in the 14 years at Eastern Florida. We want guys that the community gets excited about. I myself have 3 little ones, and so those are the role models for my kids. And so if I'm bringing in players that aren't really good human beings, I mean, what am I showing to my kids at that point? So, I mean, my kids' best friends are honestly the players. So I probably need to work on that and get them a few more young friends as well. But so we want to have great guys that the community is very excited about. And they'll see when they come to the first game, they'll see how we treat the fans that come in the gym as well. I mean, we've got a couple surprises for the fans that come out that first game.
Coach, how are you going to sell a player in the portal that UT Martin is a place for them to play basketball?
First and foremost, I sell, again, our culture. I sell who we are. And so we've been in contact with some players in the portal and some really highly sought-after players in the portal. And I tell them a couple things. Number one, you're going to be loved. It's a huge staple of who we are in the program. You're going to be cared for. You're going to have a coaching staff that truly cares about you as a person, not as a transactional athlete that's just here to win some games. So I think that's huge, especially in this day and age. There's not enough coaches out there that really care about their players. And so that's a big thing. Number two, we're going to develop. It's really wild, but out of the 62 players we had signed Division I, almost all of them have called back once they went to Division I and said, Coach, they don't do player development. They don't develop. They say, if you want to get better, do it on your own. But when they have their time with the team, it's only team stuff. It's practice. It's X and O's. So we're going to develop. We're going to spend such an immense amount of time and effort and love trying to develop our guys. So we tell our guys that in the portal, come to us. It's going to be it's a business decision also for the rest of your career. Maybe not just for the first year or two, but we're trying to prepare you so you can make the most money long-term as a professional once you leave UT Martin and go play overseas or maybe even in the G League. And so it's a real investment is what that is from that standpoint.
How much interaction have you had with the current players that are on the roster? And you've kind of alluded to already as far as having to fill a complete roster. So that's
Yes.
college
Yeah.
basketball when one coach leaves, the entire team leaves and hit the portal. What is that like for you right now, or how do you even scratch the surface on that?
So just scratch the surface only as far as that goes. I've been in contact with the guys that are not in the portal yet, from UTM, and so we've got meetings set up actually for Wednesday. So I'm excited to meet with them and kind of hear what their desires are and hear what their needs are and see if that aligns with them staying or if I can help them go somewhere else. But I want to be a great mutual fit for anyone that wants to stay.
How have you, as a coach, prepared yourself for this level? Like you said, we talked about the portal. There's NIL. You have great players. They'll potentially leave Martin going to another place. Like you said, getting $500,000 going
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
How have you kind of prepared yourself to navigate that? And it seems like you're not afraid to
Yeah.
be able
Yeah.
to navigate these kind of new waters that college coaches are going through.
Absolutely. So again, I believe in myself so much. I believe in our culture and our program so much. And so we had to sell that from right at the get-go. When I was at Eastern Florida, it was Brevard Community College when I took over. When I took over 14 years ago, we did not have a wood floor. It was the best region in the country in junior college basketball. We had a rubber tartan floor. We had partial scholarships only. And it was probably one of the worst jobs in the entire country. And so people ask, like, how do you prepare now to sell? This is easy to sell. This town loves basketball. The facilities are amazing. The administration's amazing. We're renovating the locker room. I mean, this is like high major facilities. What's hard is selling a rubber tartan floor with partial scholarships and a team that hadn't won in over a decade. So this is an easy sell. So I do feel previous experience is really prepared for what we have right here at UTM.
You got all the positives, like the difference between Eastern Florida and coming here.
Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest hurdle?
Biggest hurdle, probably just when we bring recruits in, the 2.5 hour drive from Nashville Airport. I don't think of it as a lot of hurdles. Obviously, any job, any situation. I mean, even if you're at Duke, you have hurdles, and so there will be little stepping stones that we've got to get over, at time to time. But maybe I'm just a glass half full, or even a full glass full. But I mean, I don't see any real hurdles. I just see, there'll be little challenges here or there that we'll address, and that's just part of college basketball and it's part of life in general.
What do you know about the OVC? Talk about that.
The OVC, I know there's 60 former OVC players that played in the NBA, and so that's a great selling point already with recruits. And obviously, Lester Hudson from here at UT Martin, growing up in Tennessee, and obviously there's been some teams coming in and out of the OVC over the years. But, I mean, it's a great league. I mean, it's a mid-major league. There's great coaches in the league. There's great talent in the league. A lot of the towns are very similar to Martin in the league, outside of maybe Little Rock. And, I think it's a great league. I mean, that's another selling point with coming here. We're not a low major league. We're not in a bad league. It's an unbelievable league. I don't know how many mid-major leagues have had 60 NBA players come through the entire conference. And so I think that's huge, but it also means we've got to get good players in here.
What's your system? What are your basketball philosophies?
So we value on offense. We want to really have guys that have high IQ and pass the basketball and shoot the basketball and are really, really skilled. We like to spread teams out. Again, I don't want to play a lot of ISO ball. I don't want to. I think it's a more fun brand to watch when the ball's constantly moving. It's like Popovich said with the Spurs, it's the beautiful game. And so we want to, we call it speed and space. We want to play fast. We want to play aggressive. And we want to create great space for our players and let the players, make plays. All of the reads, all the decision making, all the nuances that we practice every day. That's what leads them. Once we get to the game, that's the final exam. Y'all get to play. Y'all get to play. Defensively, we're a little more structured. We've got a very unique defensive system that's a little bit switching man, a little bit matchup zone, a little bit scouting report based, and so we have to have high IQ guys to be able to implement that defensively. But we were number 2 in the country out of 300 and. Gosh, between Division I and Division II junior college, I think there was like 380 different junior colleges. We were number 2 in the country in defense this past year. We finished in the top 8 over the past 11 years defensively. And it's funny, a lot of coaches think I'm more of an offensive guy. I don't know what we are, but I know we've been very good defensively for a while, and we don't always have Marcus Smarts out there defending. But I love our concepts defensively, and then I'm a big rebounding guy as well. And I think it was actually Pat Summitt, an interview I'd seen with her many, many years ago, and she said, defense doesn't win championships. Defense and rebounding does. And that always stuck with me, and because most coaches don't really preach that. The cliche is defense wins championships. And to hear that, I mean, it just really stuck with me, and so that's been a real staple, I would say probably since 12-13 or 13-14. First couple of years at Eastern Florida, we were just average rebounding, and then, saw that quote, I loved it. So.
Coach, you talked about relationships. I've talked to a couple of players that played for you 15 years ago on the AAU circuit. What does it mean for guys that you used to play for when you were still growing up that still would try to vouch for you or loves and is excited about a move like that?
I'll be honest, that's why I do this. I don't do it for the level that I coach at. I don't do it for championships. We've been fortunate to win a whole lot of them. I do it because of the people. And I think that's the number one foundation of our culture, of our program, of everything I believe in. And I think that's why we are successful. I think without those relationships, without players that really care about you and I care about them, I'm not sure if you can attain the heights that you want to attain with any team. And so it means the world to me. And since I was fortunate enough to get the job here, the outpour of support from former players over 20 plus years has just been it's been overwhelming, and it makes me think that we've been on the right track over the years. So thank you for bringing that one up. That's very important to me right there. So.
Coach, you plan to be part of the community to get people to sit in those seats over their own game now?
Absolutely, and they're going to see my family too. They're going to see my 3 kiddos, and they're going to see my wife, and especially in a community like this. I mean, I already told Athletic Director Kurt McGuffin, since I've been here, everyone's so nice. I mean, it's just an unbelievable community. And so I'm extremely excited. I want to think outside the box on some extra ways I can immerse ourselves in the community, but I don't know, maybe we'll do one morning a week that's just going to be kind of like an open community breakfast where anyone, I got to find the best breakfast spot in town, but anyone in the community that just wants to have breakfast with Coach, we just come on out on, say, Mondays or something at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and do breakfast with Coach. But think about stuff like that. Obviously, my oldest daughter is 5. She's going to be in kindergarten next year, and so, being able to get into the community through the school system as well for the great, primary, elementary, school system here. And but I mean, that part is really exciting to me because again, that family atmosphere, it goes past just the players. It goes into the community, and I want the community to be really proud. And we did that at Eastern Florida for 14 years, and it was funny. We probably, I think my previous athletic director said the average attendance at junior college basketball can be challenging, and especially in Melbourne, Florida, where there's a beach right there. But I think the average attendance the year before I got there was 12 per game. I cannot make this up. It was like 12. And so we ended up getting really good crowds. We had a really loyal crowd support, and it's kind of the same fans year after year after year, and then we'd grow it, because you get more. And so that is very important to me to get into the community so people get to know who I am. That's very important to me.